Hey everybody, welcome back to Top 10 Gaming. I'm your host Kelly Pally, and today we're diving into more creepypastas from another major video game franchise, Fallout. The post-apocalyptic setting of the Fallout universe often gives way to a whole lot of creepiness, and it's not overly difficult to get spooked out while playing the games from time to time. So it should be no surprise that fans of the series have crafted many a Fallout-themed story or urban legend. While most of these creepypastas on our list are definitely fiction, there are a few on here that have some heavily debating about whether or not there's actually some truth to them. So we'll let you guys decide for yourself. Here's our list of the top 10 Fallout creepypastas. Starting us off in at number 10, Point Lookout. Point Lookout follows the tale of two brothers playing the Point Lookout DLC for Fallout 3. At one point in the game, there's a mission where you need to retrieve an old book for an old man living in a mansion on Point Lookout. A book called Krivbekne. It's hard to pronounce, you guys. Anywho, you find out later that this book has dark power and must be destroyed. You initially find the book in the deepest bowels of the ritual site, in a bowl full of blood on a stone altar. Objectively creepy. The author tells of how his brother, who had an interest in the occult, was fascinated by this mission, and decided to destroy the book back at the Capital Wasteland. That's when his brothers started to act a bit strangely in the game though. Not having enough caps to buy a riverboat ticket, he decided to kill a traitor in the game and take all of her caps. His brother was usually the type to play with a bit of a moral compass, so the author was like, it's a little odd. As his brother continued to make his way back, they started noticing glitches in the game. Characters were gone from locations that they'd normally be in, disappearing entirely. When getting to Rivet City, it was entirely deserted. The same with Megaton, the Citadel, and every other settlement that they checked out. That's when his brother was attacked. All of the NPCs in the game that had gone missing appeared out of nowhere and attempted to kill him. Eventually someone shot at him with a fat man, nuking him, which caused the game to freeze. Restarting it, the game returned back to normal. The two brothers haven't been able to figure out why it did what it did, and have never been able to find the book in the game since. Up next, number 9, Vault 666. Vault 666 isn't the most adored creepypasta on our list. One look at the reviews at the bottom of its page show that it has gotten the most stellar reception. But like I said, you guys can be the judge of quality of all of the numbers on our list. Now this story tells of a 5th grader named Hayden who had a self-described terrifying experience while playing Fallout 3. While they were out and about exploring, they discovered a new location, called Vault 666. Considering the numbers, they figured there might be some creepy stuff lurking inside that would be worth looking at. So they entered. Upon going inside, something quickly caught their eye. It appeared as if someone was inside of the vault, and the game just glitched, with that person disappearing entirely. Thinking nothing of it, Hayden continued onwards. That's when they started to hear footsteps. They quickly turned around and came face to face with a screaming monster, causing their character to freeze entirely. It was a dilapidated looking mutant that they had never seen in the game before. After a few seconds, the game glitched again and it disappeared, and Hayden regained control. Further into the vault, Hayden came across a sign labeling a door that looked as if it had been scratched out. Hayden entered, and discovered Butch, the character from Vault 101, strapped into a chair in the room. Deciding to free Butch, as they moved their character forwards, the monster reappeared again, this time stabbing Butch. Hayden ran out of the room, heading back to the vault's door to get out. That's when Hayden's radio started going haywire, making the situation more unsettling. Finally, Hayden reached the vault door, but when they tried to open it, it was now locked. They turned around to see the mutated monster coming straight for them. This is when Hayden paused the game to take a breather and calm down a bit. It was late at night, and in the darkness of the room, when Hayden turned around, they swore that they saw the shadow of the creature that was chasing them in the game. Panicked, Hayden went to bed. The next day, Hayden unplugged the hard drive they had connected to their Xbox and popped it into their computer instead. A file now appeared on the drive titled Fallout 3 666 666 666 666 666 666. So lots of sixes. Up next, number 8, The Haunted Hotel. It's not uncommon to come across the dead bodies of NPCs as you make your way through any Fallout game. That's something that this creepypasta explores, set in Fallout New Vegas, following the story of a player navigating their way through the world of the game. Now, after killing off a bunch of escaped convicts from the NCRCF in the town of Prim, the player was scavenging their way through a hotel when they started to notice that there was a whole lot of salvageable items just lying around, a surplus even. At one point, they found a full skeleton sprawled out beside an overturned chair. Usually this was nothing out of the norm, but for some reason the player got chills. There was a holodisc in front of the body, so they went over to it, picked it up to see what was on it. Upon collecting it though, their vision went blurry, and it was as if it was interacting with them. The game started to reveal some sort of flashback. In the flashback, the man who was a skeleton moments before was now leaning forward, sobbing, and the player heard the voice of another NPC say, "I see you brought the money, Mr. Peterson." The player then watched as this other character then appeared in the room holding a briefcase, took the money, and then assassinated the sobbing man. That's when the vision ended. Now in the holodisc, a message appeared. "Mr. Peterson, if you want to see your wife alive again, bring the cash and small unmarked bills to the Bison Steve on Tuesday." The player, feeling a little sad about what happened, just moved on, and came across a locked room in the same building. So, of course, he picked the lock to reveal a bedroom behind the door. He was about to leave when he recognized an item in the room, the briefcase from the vision before. When reaching out to touch it, another vision appeared, the dead man's wife interacting with the killer. It was revealed that the two were in on the murder together. But she was more deceiving than that. To the player's shock, he watched the wife attempt to murder the killer. The two then struggled, with the killer strangling her to death. The killer, who was also hurt and bleeding because of the exchange, got up and moved to the door, only to find that it was now locked. The player then continued to watch as the killer slowly bled out to death. The vision then came to an end. Creeped out, the player left the hotel immediately and never went back. In at number 7, Vault 106. This story tells of a gamer who was playing Fallout 3 late at night. Seeing that it was just after 1:30 AM, they decided to wrap up the game. At the time, they were inside of Vault 106, and as they were about to leave, an insane survivor, an NPC who was aged and bald, attacked them with a lead pipe. The player quickly disposed of them and decided to toss their body onto a nearby pool table. Now as the player left the vault, something odd happened. The dismembered body of the insane survivor was now outside of the door. Thinking it was a bug, the gamer shrugged it off and went to save. But when he got to the save menu, he noticed that there were now 3 files. One titled Jason, with the image next to it being a young Caucasian player holding a lead pipe in front of a scavenger in the front of Vault 106. The second was Tom. This was the player's save before leaving Vault 101. And the third was titled Pool. And the picture next to it was the insane survivor's dismembered body on the pool table. Now, not thinking much of it, he saved the game and went to bed. The next morning, he went to load his game and thought, hey, why not try out one of these mystery saves, just for the hell of it. So he loaded up the one titled Jason. He was playing the Caucasian character, the one with the lead pipe, and the scavenger in front of him immediately started speaking to him as soon as the game loaded up, saying, "Hi Jason." The gamer's dialogue choices were either "Hi Billy," "Hi Tom," or "Hi Will." He chose Billy. The scavenger then said, "Grandson, why must you play your compy thing so much?" The gamer, a tad freaked out, chose to say nothing in response. Instead, he just fast traveled out of there, to the Republic of Dave. That's when he heard one of the NPCs having a discussion with another NPC, asking, "Why did Jason die?" The other one responded, "Because he wanted to, Billy. He hurt a lot of people on the 3rd. The gamer started to wonder if this Jason character was the man in the vault that had glitched, and if he had committed suicide somehow. He decided to get off Steam altogether. Now a day later, the gamer decided to load the pool save. The same character, the insane survivor, was still there, but had no head. The gamer went over to the pool table. The game appeared to glitch, and the dismembered body of the insane survivor appeared on top of the pool table. The gamer decided to search the body, and found something chilling. Not only was there a jumpsuit, as predicted, there was also a note. It was titled Steam. He read it. All the note said was, "Jason Fallout Fan 3. So the gamer decided to exit the game and searched up that user on Steam. The user he found had a bloody Enclave power helmet as his avatar. And their About Me, it read, RIP. Was this Steam player the Jason character stuck in the game? Perhaps. That's where the creepypasta ended, so. In at number 6, Diary of a Dead Man. If the title of this creepypasta didn't give it away, this one follows the daily entries of a dead man's diary, starting from October 22nd, 2077. While it isn't much of a horror story, it's more of a gory depiction of what happened in the 24 hours after the bombs were initially dropped. Now the author, named Simon, writes of how there is an ongoing war between America and Japan, and how it seems that everything will likely work itself out soon. But on the second day, the second entry in the journal, New York is bombed to ruins. Simon, who worked at a factory, writes how he is trapped beneath a destroyed building, and how he can't feel his legs. He believes that he might die there. From where he lies, he can see people outside, bodies melting because of the nuclear impact, and he can hear the screams of his co-workers in the near distance. The third day is even more horrifying. Simon writes that he sees the fires outside expanding, and that soon they'll eventually reach him, but he can only hope that he dies before they do. He can barely keep his eyes open. He still hears gunshots, still hears wails of pain, and pleads to the reader, who will hopefully see this journal in the future, not to let society make the same mistakes again. Really, it's just a sad story. And at number 5, The Road to Hell. This creepypasta is about a modded version of Fallout New Vegas. In it, the author tells of how he discovered a new mod called TRTH, and that, when downloading it, was about the size of a regular DLC. Now upon loading it up, the full title was revealed to be The Road to Hell. It offered up a selection of 2 modes to play. One run mode, which was like a survival mode, you could only die once and the game was over. Hellfire mode was the second, and it was the same as the one run mode, except your health would slowly deplete over time and stim packs were sparse. Now aside from that, the only difference was a difficulty setting, which was locked at Ultimate Nightmare. Yeah, sounds hard. When starting either of these modes, the game opens up a room constructed out of brimstone. You customize your character, your special stats, and then you're given a few items: 5 stim packs, 5 purified waters, a shotgun, a revolver, and a knife. You then teleport out of the room, and a notification box appears that reads, "Test of Lust." This is when things get really weird. Not only are you navigating a place that feels like it was taken right out of Dante's Inferno, and your enemies are demons that are like seemingly impossible to kill, but everything around you features naked NPCs and extremely graphic sexual content, including cutscenes that would occasionally trigger out of nowhere. After that, the game progresses to Test of Greed, where you can't pick up any loot or caps or else you'll die. The mod explored each of the circles of hell, each more graphic than the last. The author said they couldn't manage to make it through it all, because it was pretty graphic and disturbing, and had to give up. And at number 4, Fallout 2's Secret Ending. Now there's a really creepy ending that you can apparently get in Fallout 2 according to this creepypasta. There's a vault that you can stumble upon towards the beginning of the game that's called Toxic Caves, but when you explore it, it looks a lot like a very small vault with 3 levels, the first being the cave level where you access the vault from. Now if you have the original version of the game and haven't got any of the patches for it, you should be able to return to Toxic Caves once you've finished the game. Using the heart pills from the Weston Murder Quest, kill yourself in the elevator. That's a statement. After the death scene plays, your screen will go black, with no menu options popping up. After a few minutes, you'll begin to hear a strange noise, a sort of echoey, hollow, Brownian noise, fitting of a cave. Your screen will fade back in, with your character within a pile of the biomass goo that was from the first game with the Master. Your character eventually stands up, and while the soundtrack music will begin to play, the hollow noise from before will continue, and increase in intensity as you go. You'll find yourself in a new level, a hall filled with a bunch of locked doors. Now don't pick any of those locks. The hollow noise will increase, and the music will begin to artifact. Characters that had died in the main game will appear, including whoever you killed while playing. None of them will speak to you or react to your presence. If you try to interact with them, nothing happens, except when you try to use healing items on them. You'll get a text box message that reads, "It's much too late for that, Chosen." Now when you reach the very final door, you'll see the player character from the very first Fallout game there. This is the only person that you can interact with. If you ignore them, the credits will play once more, over top of pictures of victims of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Really weird and insensitive. But if you talk to him, he will tell you that he is your ancestor, a vault dweller from the first game, and that he is disappointed in the way that you turned out. He turns his back on you, and your character then collapses into a pile of bones. The screen turns white and your computer freezes. And there's a third option. Now there is one door in the hallway that you can blow up with a heavy explosive. It's a gamble to which one it is though. Once you open it, you'll find a locker with an empty 10mm pistol in it. Now if you load it with the literal Easter egg from the basement of the new Reno Arms, you can shoot it at this character. This will then result in the screen cutting out of the game and into an over-the-shoulder video of a young man playing a game that looks a lot like Fallout, but isn't. The game then fades. Apparently, rumor has it that after you trigger this ending, you should turn off any televisions in your home for several hours. The hollow noise from the game will come out of your television, as if it is picking up the signal that the game emitted. Now the developers of Fallout 2 Black Isle Studios have denied that the game has this level in it, but a lot of people seem to think that it does exist. And at number 3, the Fallout Effect. The Fallout Effect creepypasta is structured as a journal, which begins on June 17, 2012. The journal, written by a 10-year-old boy, begins on his birthday, complaining about how upset he is with his father for moving them down to the vault, and how his only friend that he has is someone named Amada. As the entries continue, we learn that his father gave him a gun for his birthday, that he's given a Pip-Boy, that the day of the apocalypse has passed but nothing has happened, and that the boy discovers from reading his father's journal that a supply of Novocaine has leaked into the air supply of the vault. A year later, the boy writes in his journal again, having read more of his father's journal, in which it's revealed that the Novocaine is now entering the air supply in a dangerous amount, threatening to cause brain damage to some. The boy confronts his father, who claims the entry was fiction. It was just part of a novel that he was writing. 2 years later, there's another journal entry, where the boy claims to see hallucinations. He goes into his father's journal to discover that he's not the only one. According to his dad's journal, the Novocaine is affecting multiple individuals, and people are going insane. The boy refuses to take it seriously. Years later, he writes in the journal again saying that his father has left him a note, in which he says that he's going to go fix the Novocaine pipe and to be careful, not to trust anyone in the vault. A day later, he writes again that his friend Amada woke him up in the middle of the night, and that there was a lockdown because his father had escaped. He reports that he goes after his father, shooting the overseer of the vault, and escaped. The next and final entry, date unknown, the boy writes that he escaped the vault, and that the world is his for the taking. The journal ends there, but the story ends off with a note that reads, "Subject 134 is one of our most interesting cases," and that he was found running around the DC area screaming, shouting, and talking to foliage, shooting at wildlife with a BB gun. It implies that the post-apocalyptic world of Fallout is all in the mind of this young man who has gone insane. And at number 2, the Little Dead Riding Hood quest. Short but sweet, this urban legend is about a part of a Fallout game that never became what it was meant to be. Now the story revolves around the Lone Wolf Radio Shack in Fallout New Vegas that appears to be abandoned. Apparently Apparently when it was initially conceived, it was the home of the Lone Wolf, a character who was incredibly sadistic and depraved, worse than any other character that has ever existed in the franchise. Now the plan was to have this character host the Lone Wolf radio station, the station broadcasting insane ramblings and rants, with it going quiet between the hours of 11 p.m. and 3 a.m. At that time, the Lone Wolf would return on air, but accompanied with a child, who he would then murder, live on the station after telling the kid, "Everyone is gone. You are alone. Let it all end." Now if you listened at 3 a.m., a quest would be initiated, called Little Dead Riding Hood, in which you have the option of tracking down the Lone Wolf, and have to choose between killing him or joining him in murdering a child. If you chose the latter, it would give you a perk in the game that allowed you to kill children. Apparently this was all scrapped because it was deemed too inappropriate and shocking, with the game only containing the lone shack and various clues in the Mojave hinting to his existence. And finally, in at number 1, the Numbers Station. This is the most well-known urban legend concerning the Fallout franchise. In Fallout 3, one of the in-game radio stations is Galaxy News Radio. Now if you kill the host of that station, 3Dog, he'll be replaced by a technician named Margaret. This and skipping the Galaxy News radio quest are the only ways to turn the GNR into what's known as the Numbers Station. The station will only broadcast a random flow of numbers that many suspect are a coded message. Some people think it's a nuclear retaliation control network, but others think that the numbers have ties to the real world outside of the game. Now when you listen to the station, you'll hear 3Dog's voice, despite him being dead, speaking in monotone, listing off numbers, which is then broken up by the song I Don't Want to Set the World on Fire. All other music tracks don't seem to play on the station. Naturally, people started to try to decode these numbers, and turn to Morse code. Now in Morse code, some of these messages that were revealed were the likes of "Wash the car today, maybe Chinese for dinner," or "Have you watched my YouTube video yet? I uploaded myself kicking bums in the nuts." Other messages are a bit creepier, the likes of "The Queen has died today, the world mourns, as on days like these we are all Brits," and other messages like "I can't believe they've actually done it, not long left, the noise, I can't take the noise anymore, I have a pistol in the attic." Another player noted that the dates have matched up with a few real-life dates that are pretty eerie, including actor Gary Coleman's time and date of death. And another one that speculates on Abraham Lincoln's assassination, with a message that states the blame will be placed on that actor Booth, and that Johnson better not cheat me out of the payment. Another date predicts that Britney Spears will win an Oscar in 2023. Now the credibility of these decoded messages kind of lost wind when the prediction about the Queen's death, which was dated for March 19th, 2014, obviously didn't come true. But the coincidences are still kind of creepy, to say the least. Alright, there we have it friends, which of these creepypastas do you think have a grain of truth in them? And what other Fallout creepypastas do you think we should check out? Give us a shout in those comments below. If you dug this video, spread some love and hit that like button. And for more video game creepypastas and a whole lot of other content, from lists to theories to news and updates, be sure to subscribe to Top 10 Gaming. There's even a nifty little playlist currently flashing on your screen just waiting for you to click it. In the meantime though, thanks for watching everybody. I'll catch you all in the next video.